You're watching Saturday Anime on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Greetings, this is Reverend Paul, and this is Raw. Now, in the last episode of Chainsaw Man, Katana Man was beating the shit out of Aki, and Aki very well could have died if Himino did not sacrifice herself in order to save him. Now, the Ghost Devil gets pretty close to killing Katana Man, but then this chick, Akane Sawatari, shows up, and she uses the Snake Devil to kill the Ghost Devil. And Akane tells Katana Man, make sure you don't damage the heart of Chainsaw Man. I'm guessing Chainsaw Man's heart is kind of like the Guyver's control medal, like it's pretty important. But before Katana Man can take Chainsaw Man's heart, the hand of the Ghost Devil pulls the cord on Denji's chest, resurrecting him in his Chainsaw Man form. And Chainsaw Man and Katana Man face off. And I'm really surprised that Denji is able to hold his own over the much more experienced Katana Man. The only error Denji makes is thinking that Katana Man gives a shit about his henchmen. Katana Man's like, I don't give a shit, and then he fucking chops the both of them in half. So Katana Man, Akane, and the rest of their henchmen drag Chainsaw Man's torso away. Now on the other side of Tokyo, Makima appears to have been gunned down by the other members of Katana Man's team. And just as they were about to celebrate a job well done, it turned out Makima is alive. So Makima gets to the station, and waiting for her are Kurose and Tendo, members of Division 1. And Makima tells Tendo and Kurose there was an attack and everybody was killed except for her. Now the way it looked to me before, I'm pretty sure Makima was fucking dead, but I guess the bullets just like grazed her head or something. So Makima tells Kurose and Tendo, I need you to get me 30 convicts and we need to go to the highest point of Tokyo. So once they get there, the members of Division 1 and the convicts have to put blindfolds on because Makima is going to use her devil contract and it is top secret. Nobody can know what it is. And I know this is a nitpick, but this is like literally the most generic looking van of convicts I have ever seen. Like it looks like they just drew different versions of the same dude. So Makima uses her weird fucking devil contract to crush the remaining members of Katana Man's crew. She just compacts them into human jelly. It's also very convenient that Makima seems to know all the names of Katana Man's henchmen. So needless to say, Akane and Katana Man are freaked out that all the members of their fucking crew are now just streaks on the sidewalk. And before they have the chance to complete what's left of their mission, Kobeni shows up and Akane tries to attack Kobeni with the Snake Devil, and Kobeni starts doing fucking Matrix moves. She fucking does flips, she's running down the back of the Snake Devil, then she cuts off Katana Man's arm and does this really cool John Woo like gun grab and fucking shoots Katana Man without even turning her head. It turns out underneath Kobeni's Principal McVicker exterior is a real badass. So Kobeni uses Chainsaw Man as a human shield, and Akane and Katana Man get in their soccer mom van and they flee in order to live to fight another day. So after executing her weird crushing ritual, Makima and the two members of Division 1 run into Madoka, who informs Makima most subdivisions 1 through 4 have been wiped out, and because there are so few members left, all the divisions are going to be combined and Makima will be the new head of all the divisions. And then Madoka's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here because this shit's getting fucking crazy. Now in the past couple of episodes, the series has been reinforcing this idea that the thing the devils are afraid of the most is crazy people. And the reason Denji makes a good devil hunter is because he's fucking nuts. We first heard Himino express this idea to Aki, and then we learned Himino got this idea from her master, Kishibe. And I think this is a really interesting idea because, as we've mentioned before, devils feed off of fear. The more scared you are, the more powerful the devils become. And one of the most common fears is fear of the dark. I feel like fear of the dark really gets to the core of what fear is. And what fear of the dark is basically fear of the unknown, not being in control. When you're in a dark room, you can't see what's around you, you have no idea what's in there, and you can't prepare yourself for what might happen. So fundamentally, fear of the dark is fear of not being in control. And I really do feel like that is at the core of every fear. Every fear is about not being in control. And so going back to the idea that the devils feed off of fear, if devils are feeding off of your fear and controlling you through your fear, then a crazy person is going to be the one fucking person they won't be able to control. Crazy people aren't afraid of anything. They don't give a fuck. And we see this idea play out with Kobeni. Kobeni is a real fucking badass. She looks like she might even be a better fighter than Aki. But because she can't manage her anxiety levels, she just completely breaks down and becomes immobile. Kobeni shares a lot of parallels with Denji. They both self-sabotage themselves. They're both capable of doing more than they think they can. They both let their fear control them, and they are both at their strongest when they completely lose control. And they both seem to be at that tipping point between sanity and insanity, and that is why, like Chainsaw Man, I think Kobeni, despite her tendency to melt down, has a lot of potential to be a devil hunter. I think we also have to point out Arai's heroic sacrifice in saving Kobeni, and by sacrificing himself, Arai basically served as the spark for Kobeni to unleash her inner Neo. This episode also gives us a little bit more insight into Makima's abilities. Makima evidently has some kind of devil contract that allows her to flatten people like cockroaches, and she could only do it from a really, really high point. So I guess this is the boot devil. I have no idea what contract she is using, but clearly we could see why she has such a high position in the public safety devil hunters, because she is somebody you do not want to fuck with. Maybe Makima even has a contract with the Wolverine devil, and that's how she was able to heal herself after she was shot. Although it is pretty interesting, Makima was very clearly hit, but told the members of Division 1 that she wasn't. And I think it's increasingly clear at this point, this kind of nice passive girl that Makima portrays is actually kind of hiding somebody who's actually pretty determined and pretty aggressive. Now, I'm kind of mixed on the fight between Chainsaw Man and Katana Man. I still think the fight with the Bat Devil is the best fight in this series so far. Chainsaw Man's fight with Katana Man is a little bit more subdued. It's not really like an all-out splatterfest. It's more of like an old-fashioned samurai sword fight with just these two equally powered guys facing off. I could see some people being disappointed because when you hear Chainsaw Man and Katana Man are gonna face off for the first time, you're expecting a fucking huge epic battle. But this episode is kind of like when Kane interrupted Hell in the Cell and just fucking tombstoned The Undertaker. The first meetup is not supposed to be an all-out war. It is setting up the big battle that will come. The Chainsaw Man Katana Man standoff did have some awesome music. It was very metal and it totally fit the attitude of these two characters. And I like this Spider-Man shot of fucking Chainsaw Man jumping at Katana Man. Now, I know some people might be disappointed with the best character in the series, Power, because when the shit hit the fan, Power got the fuck out of there. But what you don't understand is Power did not run away because she's afraid. Power ran away because she was trying to help others. She knew Makima had the situation under control, so Power was surveying the neighborhood to see if anybody else needed help. Power truly is the most caring person in the show. I like the ending sequence, Deep Down by Aimer. The song has a very cool groove to it, and I love the psychedelic animation, and it reminded me a lot of Belladonna of Sadness. So despite having two big events, the face-off between Katana Man and Chainsaw Man, and the first exhibition of Makima's power, I feel like this episode wasn't as strong as previous episodes. This episode serves more to set up the final arc of the season. I guess a better way to put it is that this episode felt more like the beginning of the end.